Hello everyone and welcome back to Flats Renovation channel. Haven't seen you for a long time, missed you and didn't spread video for a long time. Decided to eliminate this gap, especially since interesting topic ripened. And today I wanted to share with you the way how we install MDF baseboard. The way it goes, what we use and our small tricks. So let's go. So here's MDF baseboard. In this particular case it's white colored. Sometimes very dark. We stick it. That means we fix it by adhesive. This is upper side. Here's the downside. We apply adhesive on this protruding strip at the bottom. And then double the adhesive knot reaching about 1 inch to upper edge, to prevent it getting outside, approximately in this area. The thickness of the bit should be nearly ½ inch. So while pressed it would be nice extended, and it would have a good adhesion to surface. Because if it's not sufficient amount of this, baseboard might adhere improperly to it. The type of adhesive that we use is polyurethane one, by no means water soluble. In this case it's an adhesive aghesive company. Superstone beige color. So it's the kind of adhesive that we need because it's not white. But if the white, so it's a water soluble, it won't suit us, because water soluble one won't be so reliable. But using the right type will be absolutely sure that our baseboard will be joined firmly. We put the adhesive at thick broken portions of it. Of course we can apply continuous bead, but in this case that will be stuff overrun, that is unnecessary. We put it with an interval about 4 or 5 inches. By portions like thick cloths. Well, and after that, we fix the baseboard onto appropriate surface. In this case between laminate flooring and wall with wallpapers. This laminate is made with text imitation parquet board. And we stick it this way along the entire length. Since it's white, definitely some gaps appear between wall and baseboard. Therefore the wall requires especially thorough preparing. Thus it must be fairly flat. Of course, even if some roughness happens, this is not scary. They are unavoidable anyway, but we need to aspire lifting them minimal, so that most likely when mounting baseboard with sticking way, you will have to additionally press it while adhesive drying. For example, as we do it. Here you can see our typical press. There are almost all our small tricks in it. At first, a canister. This is actually a lot that creates resistance to baseboards getting off. That's the press, and by its weight the canister filled with liquid holds the baseboard in the right fixed position, doesn't allow it to get off. For example, we can fill this with water. Why the canister is good? For sure we can use stuff that has its own weight. But then we'll have to drag and drop ponderosity from place to place. And a canister can always be emptied and then fill it with water. That's when weight is not needed, we can release it. We can dispose them in great numbers in some storages where there is a place for temporary storing. And then, when jumping to a new object, we can use them again, filling with water. It takes not so much time. Secondly, a canister is made of strong and dense plastic. And actually you may not worry that it will leak while standing as a burden and flood the floor. For all this time only once I saw a canister leaking, just because it was damaged by some very hard and sharp object. So if to watch for it and don't place on any nails and screws, any spikes, then everything will be okay. On wards between a canister and a baseboard we set such a spacer, serving as a junction, through which the canister pushes the baseboard. We concluded that an option for optimal material for this purpose it might be polystyrene foam. This stuff is tight and compacted. This is the optimal option as compared with hard or soft spacer. If it would be rather weak, we couldn't press the baseboard well. On the other hand, if the spacer would be too dense, hard, let's say as a wooden stick, then at the slightest canister back track the stick may just fall down and the entire button will be ruined. In our case we have elasticity. While pressing, that's even if button moves a little back, then polystyrene spacer won't fall. In my opinion, this is the optimal option. It most steadily and firmly presses a baseboard. So this is our system. That is canister with water or any other liquid, primer for example. On wards intermediate unit by polystyrene is optimal strut and most properly presses the baseboard. And finally a baseboard itself. As you can see on outside corners we additionally hold it together with a painter's tape, because it's not always succeed to cut a baseboard perfect. It slightly starts to diverge in place. And to fix it till drying we bind it by painter's tape. It acts quite effective and rarely holds the baseboard till it freezes. In order to baseboard wouldn't diverge on outside corners after painter's tape removing. Here I show outside corner. For this purpose, before sticking baseboard to a wall, we as well treat with joining mitres with some amount of adhesive. Small enough in order to prevent its outing while joining the two units of baseboard. After that we join them this way in place. In addition, we fasten this part during the freezing by painter's tape, which holds the baseboard in correct position until it stops. Well, that's about some more details. We cut our stuff with this tool. This is a mitre saw for inside and outside corners. The outer diameter of its blade is 210 mm. That's quite enough. A baseboard is being cut in laying position leaning on the base. By using this position we can cut rather wide stuff easily. This tool leans on only one side. In this position we can cut inside and outside 45-degree corners. In order to blade tightly and without chips, could cut MDF structure with a laminate film. The blade must have fairly frequent and small teeth. Then cut will be good, if the teeth are big and sparse. In this case it may tear and damage material. Big and sparse tooth mainly intended for cutting rough wood, wooden bars that don't need high quality. Occasionally we didn't have a vacuum cleaner right now at hand. It's on another object, but to reduce somehow amount of dust, here we tied a back to outlet pipe. To some rate it still collects the dust, and of course there is plenty of dirt. Where we butt to each other 2 units of baseboard, we do just straight cuts. It came out a little imperfect, but it's okay, that's all be fixed later. Let's we cut them straight, without any 45-degree ways. Some workers cut joints between 2 units at 45 degrees. But it was relevant for, let's say, some old handmade oak baseboard, which had a different thickness. If it had to be joined, one plank couldn't be thicker than other. For touching this up 45-degree cut was made to flush these baseboards with one another. But in common case a machine makes this stuff with high quality, and all details have an equal thickness. Therefore, these 45-degree cuttings don't have a lot of point. In any case, of course, no matter how hard we would try. Anyway, there are small gaps, especially where visible on a white baseboard. Here it already froze, we set it yesterday. Today is day for only shooting. Nothing wrong, always will be caulked with white acrylic sealant. Here is the case you can see that this gap is already filled, but when drying it gets a bit darker, coming more grey. Then it's turned of semi-matte white emulsion facade paint. And with a small painting brush we tightly cover this joint, and after that it smudges with baseboard, and that's all. The fixing is finished. As a result, everything will be perfect and beautiful. Even if there is some gaps that we couldn't escape. That's okay, that all can be retouched. That's the advantage of white color. Since we also have white acrylic sealant at hand, that becomes more dark later after drying, but we have also paints. Facade emulsion. Small painting brushes so we can correct all the faults. As we can see here, a baseboard is thicker than a door casing. A mite is visible. In advance, before setting, we painted it. A groove is also visible. It's dark, then it also will be caulked with sealant. And when flattened, for example with wallpaper knife, a small strip of painter's tape is sticking on the floor to prevent it smudging while puttying. After that sealant bit is blown in by the caulking gun, it's been flattened by the tip of wallpaper knife and tinted after drying. That's all, nothing complicated. So this way, not so long, quite quickly, we will get the whole thing done. Now we are in a 5-room apartment. And together with 4 hands, in a couple of days, we already done in about 3/4. The installation of this baseboard was good money enough. Therefore, there is a sense to work with it, get a profit and enjoy the process and result of working. Well, here's one more thing. When we push a baseboard in its face, where we compensate wall bumps. To escape gaps between a wall and baseboard, we use this set with canister and a piece of polystyrene. And then happen that floor is uneven and there is a gap underneath, when we need to press the baseboard down. In this case we use a floor ceramic tile. Put it carefully on a baseboard. It gives additional pin to wall and also it presses to floor. That is, there are possible options here. It can already be removed, it was set yesterday. That's nice. And everything neatly snuggled, there is no any gap. By the way, I also wanted to say that these spaces are also good because they can be made very fast and easy. If you've got a polystyrene piece, then you can cut off quickly desired length and thickness by simple wallpaper knife. In a short time you can make a lot of these units, because the speed is also important to us. Well, here in this case 2 mm thickness is used, it's allowed, but better to apply from 30 to 50 thickness polystyrene. It's stronger and more reliable. But if lack of those options, this will also fit. It can be pressed this way and this way. And actually this way, do an experiment. Which option will be better so it can be used then? Well, thanks you for attention. I hope this video was useful. Put your likes or dislikes depending on your impression. Subscribe to my channel, I will be glad to talk with you. This is motivating me to create new videos. Thanks a lot for attention. Bye everyone. Have a nice day.